Good morning, folks. Happy New Year. And wanted to get into discussing kind of what I feel the recap was for the fall. This is more so for the parents than for the kids, but obviously the boys can watch it and that's totally fine. But some of the things that I really wanted to touch on was, the growth of this team, both the numbers and quality. I think for us, we have done a really good job of growing the group. I remember at the beginning of the summer, middle part of the summer, I should say, we were sitting at maybe like four kids committed, and through recruitment, through the group improving, we grew, and I think by the end of the winter time, right now, poised to have somewhere between 18 and 19 players, 18 and 20, I should say. So I'm really excited about that, and getting into two groups, and it's just been a long road in terms of how we've started, and I'm very pleasantly surprised with how everybody's bought in, and the parent. You guys have been fantastic. So much support, the fundraising and the activities and the practices, and making sure that the kids are at games and doing everything that you guys can to support the group. So I'm very appreciative of that. I think touching back on the season, the NOKC weekend was a good weekend for us. People would look at two losses and stuff and say, oh, well, it's a tough, we lost. It's so much more than that for me. It's a starting point. That's exactly what it is. It's a starting point. And I was very pleased with how the boys were able to come back from behind several times. People take that for granted, but that instinct and that level of ability slash that trait is very difficult to come by. A lot of teams just shut down once they go down and are losing, and the boys didn't do that. We were down by a couple of goals each half, it seemed like, and they just came back. They came back and they did it, man. I mean, they were on part of it, and I look at that NOKC weekend, and we were very disorganized. We were very disorganized. We had no structure. We somewhat of a resemblance of a structure, and we did some good things. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the first game of the spring will go. But that was a good weekend for us. I thought with limited numbers, we did a very good job, and I think I think if we had all our numbers there that particular weekend, that we would have won that both those games. Then you look at the ACS games, always positive for us. I mean, a clear indication of how you've progressed is you go from a Fort Gibson group that you barely beat. Was it Fort Gibson? Ponca, I think it was Ponca City. Um, that you barely beat in the first ACS game to playing them again in that really cold morning, and we just destroyed them. And that's a testament of our development and our belief in what we were doing and confidence and various different things. So I'm very excited to have seen something like that happen. And then you look at the last game of the ACS, probably a little bit more, we were a little bit cocky. We were a little bit unorganized, and it was the last game of the season, so it wasn't our best um, game and our best effort. But it's always important. What it does is humbles you. Um, I think you learn much more from losses than you do from wins. And in that scenario, you look at a situation where it's a solid little team that we're playing against, but we were again disorganized and not really there, not playing to the best of our abilities, and they got some lucky goals. I think one of the biggest things that I talked about, or I've said in some of the player evaluations, especially on the defensive end, um, is we got throughout the season we started getting better and better at not giving up cheap goals. Um, I always build my teams defensively first and structure first. We don't leak goals. I don't want us to give up any easy opportunities, and then we build from there to move higher up the field. And I think it's important for us to be able to make sure that we don't give up those easy goals, because it just kind of makes us feel down a little bit, and it's like you're working hard on the offensive end to try to improve and try to get some goals in, and then next thing you know, you're leaking an easy one. And whereas the score should be 3-4-0, it's tied because we've given up some sloppy goals. So, it's important to be able to do that. I think it's really nice for us to have been able to progress on that front. And then obviously for me, I think some of the advantages of what we did, what we gained from that is that we're able to see the players' confidence go up, and that was super important. You look at some of the friendlies that we had, with Norman. Norman was a great weekend for us, I think, personally. It was probably the prime of our weekends in terms of our belief and our energy levels and just kind of how we played. We beat their second team, we beat their third team, and we beat their fourth team. I thought we played really well. There's a lot of players that stepped up and did a really good job. It's important to get in tight games. I think a lot of times when we look for matchups, we're not looking for matchups where we beat out a team that's 10 times worse than us, beat them 40-0. We don't learn much from that game. But in tight games where you're winning by 1 goal, 2 goals, whatever it may be, it allows you to appreciate and respect how sharp you have to be and how much you have to limit your mistakes to be able to achieve success in that game. So, those are really good games for us. Really fun. And 3 games in a day was always difficult, but the boys were champs. They went out there and played, and luckily we rotated enough to be able to make that work. And our subbing on that weekend was good. I kind of made sure that we got everybody in as much as we could, but at the same time, um, we were taking advantage of the other team's weaknesses. Um, so that was good. And then, obviously, Blitz tournament, I would have loved to have been able to play that because I had set up a really fantastic group for us, and a lot of new teams that we had not played before, and of light competition that I was really looking forward to playing. But such is life. There's not much we can do about it. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how the spring goes. I'm really appreciative again of all the parents of what you guys have done, all the support and fundraising, and all the countless days and that you have to drag your kids to work and games and everything. So I'm really appreciative of that. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the spring goes. Hopefully, we kick off very strong. Um, we're going to try to use the catalyst in these next 2 months. We're going to use our futsal rentals as part play, part practice, and I'm working on trying to invite some teams in to be able to scrimmage while we were there, and so I think that's going to be really positive. And I think we're going to grow from it. I think we're going to come on to the outdoor season with enhanced technical ability through futsal. If nothing else, it just allows you to control the ball a little bit better. It's a heavier ball, so as they're trying to kick that ball, basically a futsal ball is somewhere around 3 times as heavy as a soccer ball. You know, once you learn how to kick that properly, it becomes a lot easier when you go outdoor. Much stronger passes, stronger shots, stronger hits, and so um, I'm excited to welcome in the new players that have come on board, and excited to see how the spring goes for us and the overall process of how we play in the ACS. And we've got a lot more games. That's another thing. We got 3 sets of friendly weekends that the club has assigned with the Arkansas groups, WSA and Wichita. But then we also have the Norman friendlies, and then NOKC will come here. So we've got 5 sets of friendly weekends, and then we've got um, we've got tournaments that we'll do. Obviously, the Blitz Spring tournament, and then I'll tag in one more tournament just because our friendly schedule has become what it is, I'll tag in another tournament. So you're looking at, those friendly weekends, a guaranteed of 2 games, has 10 games there. ACS will do our normal 4, that's 14. 2 minimum tournaments at minimum game counts of 6. So that's 20 games. That's without us progressing in the tournaments. That's a lot of games. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops us. We could always look at trying to get a couple more friendlies in slash round robins, which I will do, to try to enhance our game time and just get these kids on the field and let them play. One of the best teachers of the game is getting out there and playing and tweaking things and fine tuning things inside of the game. The boys love playing, and it's a good way to be able to work on things that we need to work on. So again, a lot of positives there, and I'm looking forward to really seeing how some of the players develop. Once again, welcoming some of the new ones. Some of the new ones, we've got 13 signed right now, but like I said, that number is going to go up quite a bit, and so we'll welcome in the new players from there, and we'll get them bought in on the mentality of the group and the overall mission and goals of our group, and our supportive nature, and really push to try to do everything we can collectively to make sure these boys grow and develop. Really positive for the fall. So far so good for the winter time, and now we push to try to see how we can do in the springtime, and obviously, like I said, there's 2 minimum tournaments that we'll play, with the possibility, if it comes later in the summer or spring, and we want to tag in another local one, I'm open to it, and if we do that, then at that point it'd be 3 tournaments, but almost all of them are local, so pretty easy there. And one of the things that I really want to grow on the springtime is that if you ever need a ride or trying to bring this group closer together, and that's carpooling and getting rides for people, to be able to make sure that this group is at 100% at every game, and I think that's going to be the telling effort on how we do and how improvement comes. It's difficult to try to gauge how much you've improved if you got a different set of players each game. Where you look to improve is that consistency of players, and like I said, we're going to be pushing for 2 teams this spring, and from that, it's important to see how players develop, and kind of touching on that a little bit. I've got a very open system. Players that perform at practices and develop throughout games will get more and more opportunities, and players will move around and stuff. So it's a very open system. I'm really excited about it. It's a lot more games for me to have to coach, but basically, if we were talking about that minimum of 20, I've got to coach 40. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I don't mind it. I enjoy it. I enjoy being at the field, and I enjoy seeing progress. That is one of the things that I really get fired up about, when we're doing well, when we have the opportunity to succeed and improve. It's an exciting front for us. So, anyways, again, I appreciate you guys very much. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. I know you got New Year's Day plans. I'm sure there's some shopping involved, a lot of sales going on, but looking forward to getting started next week. Appreciate everybody's time. Appreciate everybody's work. Hope all the boys and the families are enjoying their rest times. And Happy New Year to everybody. And we will see you next week. Thank you.